public relations firm Golin wanted to better serve clients in the digital age. So it blew up the old agency model in favor of a system called the G4.
Right.
Hi, I'm Tony Vlahos, Chief Marketing Officer of ExecuNet, and I have the privilege of speaking today with Fred Cook, CEO of Golin. Hey, Fred.
Hi, Tony.
And let's just start, Fred, with sort of a history lesson, if you will. So you and your team spent the past 3 years realigning the agency's organizational chart and talent, and then transformed the old familiar agency model into something called the G4.
Right.
Tell me what that is.
Well, we have been around for almost 60 years, and for all of that time, until recently, we had a very hierarchical model with more ranks than the U.S. Army. And they were all generalists. They all sort of did the same thing, but the people that were more senior had been here longer. And we've decided that in this new age where the media landscape is changing so much and the communications is so digital now, that we needed a new structure to adapt to that. And so we threw out that model and we created 4 communities in G4. And each one of those communities is based on a specific skill set that we think that our clients need.
And can you tell me about the 4 categories? I know there are strategists, there are creators, connectors.
The first community is designed to deliver insights based on research and data, and there's a lot of that available today. And they're called strategists. The second community are called creators, and they take this information and these insights and create ideas. And then they package those ideas in the written word, in video, online, designing new websites, apps, however those ideas can be packaged. And then the third group is called connectors, and they're the ones that then deliver that message across all media platforms: newspapers, television, radio, social media, every kind of online and offline platform. And at the center of our model we have catalysts. And catalysts are the people that pull all of this together, that organize the programs, that work with our clients, that create the campaigns, the budgets, and bring in all the necessary resources. So our whole agency is organized around those 4 communities. Every office is, and finally every account is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of agencies, we're all familiar with the typical linear structure, executives, vice presidents, all the way up. How was this, 2 questions, how was this sort of received by your clients and other stakeholders? And also, what fundamentally caused you to change it? The company's healthy, but you decided to shake things up. Why is that?
The reason we did it, we were extremely healthy. We had very good financials. We'd won all kinds of awards for our work. We'd been named Agency of the Year 4 or 5 times. But we decided that we wanted to be ahead of the game in the next 10 years. So this is sort of a 10-year plan to make sure that we were what we called the agency for the future. And that was why we decided to change so dramatically. And it was very well received by our clients and by our staff, but it's still a work in progress. It's still something that we're modifying and improvising and figuring out as we go along.
In fact, this summer I believe you made a formal shift from Golin Harris
to simply Golin. Yes.
And along with that, the message "Go All In." Tell me what inspired that and what the significance of that is.
Well, it's a good question. When we changed our model to G4, we did not change our brand name or our brand identity. But after we did this for about 3 years, we realized we were not the same firm we were 3 years ago, and we're certainly not the same firm we were 58 years ago. So we decided it was time to change our brand and what our brand meant to our people. So we dropped the name Harris and came up and just used the word Golin in a bold new way. And then we created a rallying cry. And that rallying cry is "Go All In." And "Go All In," everybody knows what it means, but it means that we're deeply committed to creativity. We're deeply committed to our people. We're deeply committed to our clients. And it says something about it. And it's really resonated well with our people and with everyone else. And what most people don't realize is "Go All In" happens to be an anagram for Al Golin, our founder. It's all the same letters, yes.
Very cool.
It just turned out that way. We didn't plan it, but that's how it turned out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the people who work here.
Yeah.
This is a radical shift in talent structure, but also in culture. And you're telling me people received it well. How did you lay this on them? How did they learn of it? And was it done sort of as a process in waves? And what are some of the ongoing challenges that you're probably experiencing as this continues to unfold?
Those are good questions. We did almost a year's worth of planning, and throughout that year we kept everyone apprised of what we were doing. And then once we actually launched G4, we had an assessment tool that we created using the Lominger model, and we asked all of our employees a series of 30 simple questions. And based on interviews with them and their answers to these questions, we determined which community they would probably be the most comfortable and productive in. So we did an assessment of every employee and assigned everyone in our company to one of those 4 communities. And then we created training programs, communication portals, new products around every one of those 4 communities. And I think in the beginning people were somewhat nervous about it because it was different, but they were excited to be part of a firm that was doing something so radically new.
Right.
And we got a lot of attention for it, and people thought, this is pretty cool.
Did people immediately see themselves in the categories that they were placed in, or was their perception of their skills, capacity, different from where they actually landed in the structure?
We didn't. Our philosophy was not to force anyone into anything. The whole idea here is if you get to do something you're really good at and you're very passionate about, that you will do it better, and whether it's writing or designing or media. And so we wanted to play to people's passions and to their skills. And for most people that was fairly easy because there were certain things about the business they loved and other things they didn't like as much. For some people who didn't have a specific skill set that they were very good at, it sort of exposed them as not really being right for our model. And some of them left, and some of them we asked to leave because they just didn't fit in very well with what we were doing.
So I've read that you've got this amazing reputation for picking talent, for hiring people, all the right people.
I do?
You do. Surprised? No. I've read this about you. Go with me.
Okay, all right.
And I'm wondering, how did the new structure, the G4, change, if at all, your way of looking for talent and hiring the right people?
Well, it changed it a lot because we used to hire everyone, sort of fish from the same pond. We hired everyone that had a degree in public relations or came from another public relations agency or from a public relations school. And now we fish in lots of different ponds. We hire people from advertising. We hire people who are designers. We hire people who are video producers and animators who may not know anything about public relations, but they fit in really well into our new model, whether they are experts at data or creativity or any aspect of what we do. And I think we're a much more diverse company than we were 3 years ago, and I think in 5 years you won't even recognize who we are today because we're just going to continue to be more and more diverse.
Goodness. So if I were an executive,
yes,
and I presented you a resume,
yes,
and I said, Fred, I'd like to work in marketing at Golin,
mm-hmm.
what would I be surprised about? What should be on it that has nothing to do with, say, skills and experience?
Well, we're making a case that for all of the people, especially people coming into the company when they're new, that school experience is good, work experience is good, but life experience is also very important. And to emphasize this, we just created a few months ago an internship program. Internship. And the difference between an internship and an internship is one simple thing, and that is for the first 3 months of your internship, we pay you not to come to the office. And we allow you to go out in the world, experience whatever it is you want to make you, give you fresh perspectives and new ideas and make you a more well-rounded employee. We pay you to do that, and then after 3 months you start with a guaranteed job in one of our offices.
Amazing.
And we just kicked that off. We're going to be choosing our first intern in January.
Great.
Based on people who have applied from all over the country.
So having known you for a little bit now,
Yeah.
and also read your amazing book, how improvisational is this? I mean, I'm feeling that there's an undercurrent of life experience. Certainly is
Yes.
part of your story, and that's what's informed who you are, I believe, as a person, as a CEO, of course. Are you looking for similar qualities now, or how has that improvisational sort of vibe worked its way into the new company?
Well, the internship is a good example. It wasn't my idea. It was an idea that came out of our Dallas, Texas office, and it was based on my book, which is Unorthodox Advice from an Unlikely CEO. So there's that thing going. and it's recognizing the fact that we're looking for people to bring us ideas. And these ideas come from their own personal experience. And a lot of people that are graduating from college today have not had the opportunity to see the world in the way I did when I was younger, because they have student loans and their parents put a lot of pressure on them. So we're trying to allow people to have that life experience and still get paid. And it also sends a message, I think, to the rest of our staff and everybody in the industry that we're looking for different kind of people. We're not just looking for cookie-cutter PR people. We're looking for people that bring new ideas and fresh perspectives to our clients. And I think it sends a nice message.
It certainly does. Has the rest of the industry kind of followed yet, or are they still working within traditional models?
Everybody in all of the marketing services, whether you're in media or advertising or public relations or digital, everyone is trying to figure out how to add more services that they can sell to their clients. And the difference between what we do and what most of them do is they're sort of bolting on things to their existing model and say, well, we're going to add this, and then we're going to add this, and then we're going to do this. And we're trying to create a more holistic approach that we can apply to every single client. And I think that's the difference. It's approaching this from an integrated perspective of having a team of people who work together that are all experts, as opposed to having a lot of different silos throughout the company who may do different sorts of services.
Right. So what could a CEO who is in a different industry learn from this experience? Not just the setting up of G4, but the process, the cultural challenges, the talent considerations. Are there some lessons that kind of transcend industry?
We learned a lot of important lessons in this. First of all, when you set out to transform a company like ours, there were no how-to manuals. There were no consultants who had done this before. There were no competitors to copy. So we sort of had to figure it out as we went along, and we made mistakes in the process, and then we made course corrections when we made mistakes, and we keep changing it and molding it, and that's where the improvisation comes in. And I think if companies want to be innovative, they have to be willing to improvise, to try new things and adjust along the way. The second thing we learned is any sort of change requires momentum. You have to keep the change moving forward. You have to celebrate the things that are most successful. You have to talk about them. You have to introduce new things, and you have to keep the momentum going, no matter how big the company is, because if you don't, people have a tendency to sort of fall back on the old method. And so it's really important to over time to make sure that you're reminding people what this is all about and recreating new ideas and new ways for them to get involved.
Wonderful. Fred,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
thank
your
you.
time
It's my
and for
pleasure.
telling us about G4.